see a few times, but for Sanjana, you know, listening to her for first time, it is such a wonderful. I don't need to tell anything. I would continue listening to her, and how our youngsters, our new generation, with so much of motivation and insight and connecting to the spirit of Auroville. It's in one way they are coming, but again, mother is making them come here, and I don't know, I don't have enough words to express, and so many things, the truth, falsehood, all the explanations are her own experience, her experience under the banyan, and her understanding of Auroville, fantastic. So I would greet her for that.
Yeah, thank you, Sanjana. Thank you, Divyanshi. Now I'll introduce Ram Narayanji. Ram Narayanji came to Auroville in 2001 with his family to serve its purpose. He worked as a teacher in transition school, manager of Farm Fresh, executive at SAIIER, and a BCC member and as an entry board member. He has been serving as an executive of Auroville Residents Assembly Service since April 2023, and he is happy in whatever ways the great energy uses him to realize his dream. Today, he is going to speak is Auroville the Chariot of Jagannath. Over to you, Ram Narayanji. Thank you for being with us.
Yes, thank you, Rivu. It is wonderful, and greetings to everybody inside Auroville and outside Auroville. I have seen some distant people also might have joined, and greetings from Auroville to all of them. I was given this opportunity to say, present this, and it is an inward journey, also a reflection. Uh, First, when Rivu asked, would you like to say something? I didn't question. I don't know where the consent came. I spontaneously said yes. Then I didn't know what to say, and I asked. I was thinking about the topic, and I also at the same time asked him, and he proposed this. And he proposed two, three topics, and one of them was is Auroville the Chariot of Jagannath. It appealed to me. Though I don't know, I didn't know what to say at that time because I had read this article of Sri Aurobindo many years back and a few times and discussed in different forums, but it was I didn't have a conscious contact with this article. But it is spontaneous, you know. Uh, I believe spontaneity is spirituality. And what you said, I don't know whether he will agree with me or not, but I felt he got this topic from his intuition. And the response from me without judgment or intellectualizing anything, also from the same level, I think. And Mother talks about the future governance in a community or in a country should be from the intuitive intelligence. And it makes all the sense to dwell on this topic. Um, and here there are people from Auroville and others, and this word chariot and Jagannath might be making some strange sense. I think I would say something about this. What is this chariot and who is Jagannath? And yeah, you see, Jagannath, what Sri Aurobindo has referred to, Jagat Nath. Jagat is world or the universe. Nath is the Lord. The Lord of the world, Lord of the universe. And a chariot. Chariot everybody knows. We have seen in our nearby villages, towns, and those who have visited Puri in Odisha, and they see chariot. And but the question is very provocative, and I would like to invite everybody to uh, have a reflection without me giving an answer. We each one of us would find the answer for ourselves. I have prepared a note, but unfortunately, I didn't do any slide. Hope everybody will contemplate on it. And Sri Aurobindo, he has written this article, you know, in 1918 when he uh, was in Pondicherry, and he wrote originally in Bengali. The way that he has written, it is says also that when he came to Pondicherry for sadhana or whatever the divine wanted him to do, he was not completely disconnected with the world affairs and so-called politics also. He was very much connected because this was written in Bengali. That means this article was sent to Bengal to get it published, and they requested him to do it, though you knew him. And it was written in a magazine called Pravartak. And going back to the year 1918, you see, there is a symbolism there also, and maybe there is a mystery. You see, Sloan came to Pondicherry in 1910. Mother came in 1914. Then the World War started. She left, and all of us know the reason. I don't have to deal with it. And the war ended in 1918. And at that time, Sri Aurobindo is contemplating on the Chariot of Jagannath. The chariot, it is a society, ideal society. And ideal society which would be the vehicle of the Lord of the world, Lord of the universe. What is that? That means he has seen, I think in 1917, he has already seen the freedom of India. Though it took 30 more years to get it done, but he has seen. And then, where the Chariot of Jagannath, and he is seeing even still farther. We will read few portions from that article, we will find what he means actually. And to talk about this, I will come back there. You see, I was so happy that initially when Ribu said that it is for half an hour, and later today I understood that it is for 1 hour. I was happy to cover many things, otherwise I would be constricted. Anyway, the Chariot of Jagannath, going back to it is an history, okay? In 12th century AD, the Jagannath temple was built, and it took 100 years almost. 1135 to something 1230, but then the deity was installed in 1200 some AD. And there is a long background also, even the physical part, the relics, significant part which cannot be destroyed from Lord Krishna is there in the idol of Lord Jagannath statue there in the deity over there in this temple. And there are many things behind and in the background will be interesting, but this is not the time to deal with it. Sri Aurobindo says that what Krishna is, I am the same. Okay, so the Chariot of Jagannath, as it is now, has 16 wheels and all wooden structure, the frame. And Sri Aurobindo has, and all the 16 wheels have their specific meaning, symbol, significance. And to tell us, to name them, you see, ah, Satya, Jnana, Prema, Asakta, Rati, Usvati, Jagruti, Turiya, Ama, Nirvana, and all have, Sri Aurobindo has coincided them into four wheels. Very interesting. Like he says, the four wheels of Lord, the Chariot of Jagannath. In his article, I will read that the small beginning, opening para is that the ideal society is the vehicle of the indwelling Godhead of a human aggregate. The chariot for the journey of Jagannath. The chariot, what is the chariot? The ideal society. The ideal society is the chariot, that means a vehicle, and it is for the journey of Lord of Universe, Jagannath. And where is that? That is indwelling Godhead of a human aggregate. It is not only individual, a human aggregate, that means a society, a commune. A commune has a indwelling Godhead, and that Godhead need to move, journey forward, and for that the vehicle is an ideal society. And what are the wheels? The wheels are unity, freedom, knowledge, and power. These four are the wheels of the chariot. How familiar feels these words, values? Unity, freedom, knowledge, and power. For any community, any commune, any society to be the instrument, the vehicle of Lord Jagannath, that is progressing for the purpose for which it is created, these four things are essential. And this unity, what is said, all are unity, freedom, knowledge, and power. They are with all capital UFKN, KP. Okay, we will deal more than that. And this 12 wheels of present vehicle, present chariot, what is written, that will be interesting. Vishnu Siddha, Vibhuti, Anima, Pragya, Dhi, Jnana, Prema, Asakta, Rati, Satya, Usvasti, Jagruti, Turiya, Ama, Nirvana. And these 16 wheels carry the society forward. Ideally, and Father Lord of Jagannath. And Sri Aurobindo has concised all these things, all these values into four. Like, if you, in my way, what I understand, unity. That means Satya, Vibhuti, Keli, Vishnu Siddha. He put all these four into unity. Will. Freedom, like Asakta, it means attachment to the divine. Rati, Usvasti, which is peace. Prema, it is divine love. The for knowledge, Dhi, Jnana, Turiya, and wisdom, Pragya. And for power, Nirvana, Jagruti, rest. Okay? So, Sri Aurobindo has put like this, and saying that with this, the human aggregate, the society can be a vehicle of Lord Jagannath. And in 1918, he writes this. He has foreseen that there would be an ideal society which would be the vehicle of the Jagannath. And Mother and Sri Aurobindo, during their time living in an ashram, there are a lot of reflections, and based on which Mother has dreamt of starting a commune, where in the dream she mentions what kind of that commune, what kind of that community. Then she thinks of having that and to go a little fast forward. In 1968, Auroville is inaugurated, and mother was feeling the pressure. She didn't know, but she was being feeling the pressure that to do this, inviting all the people from different parts of the world and so many things to organize this. But then Sri Aurobindo gives the answer. She didn't know what to do, but she has been doing. And Sri Aurobindo at the last moment, almost last moment, gives the answer. Everybody knows. Yeah. In 3rd of February 1968, Sri Aurobindo tells, in what level he would be speaking to the mother, you would understand that, is that she says, India has become, it was the vision of the thing, and it instantly translated into French words. Mother text says, this is an agenda. India has become the symbolic representation of all the difficulties of the modern mankind. India will be the land of its resurrection. The resurrection to a higher and truer life. Again, it is the ideal society where the humanity would move towards the higher and truer life. And she says about the phenomena in which the same thing which is in the history of the universe made the earth the symbolic representation of the universe, so as to concentrate the work on one point. The same phenomena is now taking place. India is the representation of all the human difficulties on earth, and it is in India that the cure will be found. Then what he says, that is why I was made to start Auroville. Shouldn't give the answer why mother was feeling the pressure of creating Auroville. So the history of Auroville goes quite long back, where it started, its conception and everything. So we can say a divine ideal can be fulfilled only by a corresponding change in human consciousness, no? And mother also tells, Auroville wants to be the bridge between the past and the future. Then, this is the Auroville, but how it is the parallel with the chariot? Today's discussion, and Sanjana, she was talking about what is falsehood, what is truth. And in Collected Works of the Mother, Volume 4, page 92, very clearly Mother says, you see, individual human authority, like the authority of the father of a family, of a teacher, of the head of a state, is a symbolic thing. Again, symbol. They have no real authority, but authority is given to them to enable them to fulfill a role in social life as it is now. We feel that we are authority, we are father, we are president, we are secretary, we are executive. We feel the authority. But actually, you have this kind of authority, this kind of responsibility in a position to function something based on the present social structure. You don't have any authority. They have no real authority, but authority is given to them to enable them to fulfill a role in social life as it is now. That is to say, a social life founded upon falsehood and not at all on truth. For truth means unity, and the society is founded on division. The present society is founded on division, so that is founded on falsehood. But the real society, the ideal society, will be founded on unity. And where one of the wheels, as Sri Aurobindo mentions it has unity. So unity, freedom, power, and knowledge. We need to be clear about it, what the ideal society would be like. And we can ask whether Auroville is an ideal society, or that Chariot of Jagannath. So the wheels are the symbols, and that is related to Auroville. And the people, those who pull the chariot, you know, even the chariot itself, which has, there are fixed number of pieces of wood there. If you go into Google, you will find how many wheels, how many pieces, and what all these things are there. Very interesting. Anyway, that's a fixed thing. But in a community, it is a chariot where the Lord Jagannath would be the idol. Whoever is joining that community, that commune, is part of that chariot. And whoever is also pulls the chariot with the rope and everything, part of that whole phenomena. But when you pull a cart, like in a place called Auroville, it can be connected to, linked to any community, because we are here with the diverse culture, diverse interest may be same in a broader sense, but we have a cultural background, we have our own cultural backgrounds, faith, beliefs, and we have our own ego. We are not completely pure. How can we? And if we pull, if the people, those who have gathered there in the chariot, the Ratha Yatra, it is said Ratha Yatra, they are coming from different parts of the world. And I have escorting two of my non-Indian friends to Puri in two different times, but they were not allowed to go in. Even, I'm sorry to say, if somebody is Muslim also is not allowed to go in. There is a Muslim who are not allowed, but he has such a strong aspiration. For him, even the cart stops. Hundreds of people pull, they don't move. And there was one Muslim who has written so much of prayer, bhajans. Even now they are powerful and people are inspired. That means the divine who is dwelling in somebody's heart, consciousness, for him, no religion is there, no caste, no nationality, no division. But our society is like this and it is happening. It is not a criticism, it is a reality. For that, what happens? The Lord, the Jagannath, the Lord of the universe, wants to come to everybody, irrespective of anything. That's why every year this Ratha Yatra, car festival, happens, and he comes on a chariot. The divine wants to come, like in the hour of God, it is said. There are certain moments in the life, in the world, where when the divine comes and makes everything faster, and at that moment, and there are moments when you try hard and aspire hard, but still happens very little. So Ratha Yatra, when the divine comes out to the society, to the public, it is a moment that everybody sees, and there is a wonderful moment, every year millions of people gather together from all over the world for this Ratha Yatra. Why they are pulled? What they are getting? And there are innumerable stories, real experiences. But even now, every day, there are 2,000 to 2 lakh people visit regularly to visit the temple. And being an Odia, uh, I have some information, some experience, some knowledge about this. So I am able to say this strongly. But then, when we have diverse cultures, diverse backgrounds, then we have different way of pulling the cart. Sometimes we may be pulling into different directions. Then what would be the deity inside would be feeling? Let us ask itself. But that's the reality. But in Auroville there is something special. You see, people from all over the world, those who are inspired, they are chosen, they are drawn, they come here and participate. It is certainly something a higher grade of aggregate, human aggregate, which is gathered here, though it is not the highest, I can say. As in Synthesis of Yoga, Sri Aurobindo says, those who have chosen the infinite are chosen by the infinite. Because the divine has chosen, that's why they have chosen. To Auroville, those who have come, because we are not sending an invitation or appointment letter, people are coming here. And a few minutes ago, I heard Sanjana, it is very clear. Young and old, those are coming here, drawn here. There is something, awakening, there is some maturity of psychic being which are here because that is needed for the future society. And as Mother says, the city will be built by what is invisible to you. I think yesterday our ex-secretary, Mr. Balabhaskar, who has read this quote from the mother, which is favorite to him, and it is also favorite to me. It is a foot message in my every mail that goes because I cherish it. The city will be built by what is invisible to you. The men who have to act as instruments will sow despite themselves. They are only puppets in the hands of larger forces. Nothing depends upon human beings, neither the planning nor the execution. Nothing. That is why one can laugh. But you see, these are all wonderful words. One can live. That is, I will believe it 200%. But at the same time, we need to see what is there in our being, which is a hurdle. There are something in us. We need to be aware of how we are acting, what we are wanting. And we are the present society, which is working in the basis of actually ego. Okay? Sionda says, the society created by human intellect or by the play of the impure life impulses of nature, as it is we see now, belongs to a different order. Here it is not the chariot of God who directs the destiny of the collectivity. We can reflect upon it. What we are doing, living, but a masquerading deity who deforms the divine intuition by covering up the God within. Something is covering up the divine that is within. It is rather the vehicle of the collective ego. If we are forming, we have, big commune, of course, we have different groups also, but are we driven by the impulse, by the divine guidance, or it is a collective ego? It wanders aimlessly along the path heaped with numerous pleasures, pulled by immature and incomplete resolutions of the intellect, and the old and new dull urges of the lower nature. Sandhana also hinted about the old urges, and but she was moved by the new urges. Ah. As long as the ego is master, it is not possible to find the goal. Even when the goal is seen, it is not possible to drive the chariot straight in that direction. The truth that the ego is an obstacle to the divine fullness applies. We say about the individual, but actually it is also for the collective. Divine fullness applies. Ego is an obstacle to the divine fullness applies not only to the individual but holds equally good in the case of the collectivity. If a group, if a commune has a strong collective ego, that is also on the way of divine manifestation. And what are these collective egos? So very categorically has put. One is the sattvic ego, another is rajasic ego, and another is tamasic ego. And the nature of sattvic ego, tamasic ego, if I read that to you, I will, of course, quote from the same article little by little, as small portions. You can read it together on your own time. The three main divisions of the ordinary human society are noticeable. The first is the well-built chariot, polished, shining, clean, and comfortable, fashioned by skilled artisans, drawn by strong, well-trained horses. It goes forward cautiously at an easy pace without any haste along a road. The sattvic ego is the owner passenger. Everything is fine. Administration, organization, all these things are fine. But it is a sattvic ego. Everything is going fine, all these things. But this chariot goes around the temple of God situated on a high region. The temple of God, the ideal society, is situated higher than this level where the sattvic ego organizes its life. And this chariot goes around that, but it doesn't go to the summit. And if somebody wants to go there, then one has to get down and walk alone by foot. And the second one, he's talking about a motor car of the luxury efficient worker. And it rushes forward restless, tireless at breakneck speed, roaring through the storm of dust and shattering the street beneath it. He says more about it, and we can try to find some connection with the society which is with this, which is very haste, and that is of the rajasic ego. It drives in the direction shouting, this is the goal, this is the goal. See, we also do something, oh, now we have achieved. This is the goal, which is nearby. You run, you jump this group to that group to that group, this is all these things, and you are okay, this is the aim and this is done, we are done. But finally, one derives much pleasure and enjoyment in riding this car. If he did something and to get some pleasure, happy, then yet peril is unavoidable. If you are running this way, the peril is unavoidable. To reach the divine is impossible. Modern society of the West is a car of this nature. He identifies clearly. In 1918, he has seen this, and because the supramental consciousness has descended upon Earth and manifested upon Earth in 1956, things must have been changing, and we could connect to the West of that time. But if that is still there, then we can relate it to the Rajasic ego. That is also ego-based. Okay? And the third one, old, dirty, dilapidated bullock cart. Slow on a tortoise is a tortoise drawn by emaciated, starving and half-dead bullock and going on the narrow country road. Inside the car is sitting A lazy, blind, pot-bellied, decrepit man in shabby clothes, smoking with great pleasure his mud-stained hookah. About this last one, third one, Tamasi Ghosh, Sri Aurobindo mentions many things, but it says that by this chariot there is a bright and early prospect of reaching, though not the divine, at least the void of Brahman. He is placing this satirically. No? That means you cannot reach at all. And they say, yeah, everything is done, don't bring any change, and this is ours. We don't change, it is fine. They say, no, let it be alone. It is good because it is ours. There are orthodox and sentimental patriots who say, why don't you repair it here and there? That bureaucrat, that society, if there is something not working, then you little here and there, let it continue like that. And Shloka says such patriots are known as reformers. And others say, let us have once more our beautiful chariot of yore. It was existing somewhere so good and it should be like that only. They even try to find ways and means of accomplishing the impossibility. This is no particular indication anywhere to warrant that their hopes would be fulfilled. So, after explaining all these three kinds of ego and how a society is driven by that ego, that means who is at the place of the deity? It is not the Jagannath. It is one kind of ego in that chariot, in another one, another kind of ego, in another kind of ego. Sattvic, Rajasic, and Tamasic. That is not the ideal society where the Lord of Jagannath would move forward. The society would move towards the ideal or the divine society. So he says also the inferior society is based upon division. Okay, the structure of ideal society is entirely the opposite. Unity is the foundation. Okay, so now these are all contemplating questions we should ask ourselves. Are we connected with the unity? And unity is Satya, Vibhuti, divine play, like, and all these things. When the ego leads, even the highest truth can become a danger. These are the dangers that may come to us if we are led by ego. The thing is, without inner change, nothing durable can be achieved. We can ask ourselves, yes, today I am not going to give an answer. It is a question, provocative question. To find the answer, I am just giving the information that is given by Sri Aurobindo and Damodar, and on my reflection. Risks are there. If we are using divine as a slogan, we are doing integral education, and this is the integral education, this is the thing. We are doing we are a divine family, this is the way that should. But if the ego is there, there is no spontaneity and no intuition or no direct knowledge or aspiration, then it is a danger because we are using divine as the slogan. And we believe that let others change, then I change. Actually, if we don't change, if others change also, we don't see that they have changed. So we have to have our inner change first. Not blaming anything, because if you start blaming, that means you are not able to see the holistic picture. And our outer activity with the spiritual progress. Just we do frivolously so many activities and say that it is our progress. Do you see that? Have you broadened your attitude? Divyanshi is also talking about the giving and taking and all these things. Wonderful. She has made very interesting analysis of it. That means, as she also says, ah, Mother says that the next step of human being is the supramental being. And Auroville wants to be the cradle of Superman. Mother talks about it. That means when she has identified with the spirit of Auroville, she's found that Auroville wants to be the cradle of Superman. And people are being drawn here to manifest this. Because when she was asked, who is conceiving the Auroville? Mother says, Supreme Lord. And who is financing Auroville? Supreme Lord. See, it is the dream of the Supreme Lord. It is a plan of the Supreme Lord. And we need to be connected with that source. And Sanjana said that is within. I connect. And there is a hope. Whatever that appears adverse at this moment also for Auroville, but there is a hope. And I was part of entry board at least 5 years. And I have seen even the period, disturbing period in Auroville, I have seen people are coming from different part of the world with full inspiration, motivation. And somebody said that this is the only choice I can make in my life at this moment. I can't do anything. But when the outer circumstances, outer pictures are being, burning like, I had a strong confidence, belief, trust on the power, the supreme power. The mother is working behind everything. Whatever that we see outside are only the waves and tides on the surface of the sea. But the real force is playing its role. When we go a little deeper and deeper and silence your mind and go up and up, you will see that only one play is happening. And for that, we have something what Mother says in Collected Works of Mother, Volume 9, page 170. That's very interesting. Now we also see that all over the world, there are fighting, bombing, this, that. And she says in 1957, which is 50 years, 70 years from behind. This is the condition of the earth, and it is not very bright. But for us, one possibility remains. I have spoken about it to you several times already. Even if outside things are deteriorating completely and the catastrophe cannot possibly be avoided, there remains for us, I mean, those for whom the supramental life is not a vain dream, those who have felt by one way or the other that there is a supramental life which has come and it has encompassed us, hypnotized us that there is something new, supramental life, and they feel that it is not vain. Those who have faith in its reality, those who have faith, and the aspiration to realize it, and we aspire to do that, because there is no other way for us. We feel that that is the only reason of our life on earth. Mother says, I don't necessarily mean those who have gathered here in Pondicherry, in the ashram. You see, one immediately thinks when Mother says that those who are around here, that means ashram. And at that time, Auroville was not manifested, and we can also say that it is in Auroville. She is saying, no, I don't necessarily mean those who have gathered here in Pondicherry, in the ashram. I would add actually that also in Auroville. But those who have as a link between them the knowledge Sri Aurobindo has given and the will to live according to that knowledge. For whom? Those who have that link between Sri Aurobindo, the knowledge that Sri Aurobindo has given. We are coming to him, coming to the mother, through their readings, through our experiences, visiting this, listening to that, we feel that there is some resonance of Sri Aurobindo's knowledge in us. There is a link. And they have a will to live according to that knowledge. It is clear, I have seen multiple people in Auroville in that way. There remains for them the possibility of intensifying the aspiration. For us, what to? We have to intensify that aspiration and intensify their will, their effort to gather the energies together and shorten the time of the realization. We need to ask ourselves, are we doing that? Because that is the reason, that is the something inner which has actually grown in us, and we are driven, we are drawn by different parts of the world, local or farther. That's why we are in a Auroville. But the original aspiration, original will, original effort, we need to intensify it. Let the world outside appear deteriorating. She says appear deteriorating. Okay? So that means it is an appearance only, not actually. The first necessity is sincerity. Okay? The total turning of the divine towards the truth. What is demanded of us is a sincere aspiration, a total dedication, and a constant vigilance. But we have problems, we have difficulties here. We face day to day. But actually, these are not difficulties. If you see a little behind, everyone can reflect into their life. Go back to 15 years of your life. Go back 15 years back. Go to 15 years back. What happened to you in your life? You means also me. In our life, there are pleasures and pains, difficulties, crises. But the one that was a crisis at that moment, which we didn't want to have. But that changed the direction of our life. But if that direction wouldn't have changed, we wouldn't be here, means at present state of life where we are now. One can reflect upon it, go back. Then if that crisis has brought me so far ahead in a positive way, how can it be wrong? Any failure that happened, suppose somebody failed in his masters, but because he has failed, he didn't take certain directions in the life, and he has changed the direction and did something else. And that something else has brought me more pleasant light, which he couldn't see at that time through that crisis and failure. And he is grateful now. Oh God, you did so good that I failed in my masters. It is not only degree. Maybe losing your family or losing your property, losing something painful, but it is the divine who has cleaned your being, your circumstances, air, so that you can move faster. So Mother says, very interesting, which I always put on my desktop. I like it. Be grateful to all the ordeals, because they are the shortest way to the divine. So difficulties actually shorten our journey. So when something happens like this, let's be quiet. Look within. When you are in the sea, in the beach, the tides come, waves come. And at that time, you don't fight with that. because that's such a great energy. What do? You just go down. The wave goes over you, and then you are fresh. So difficulties are like that. They come with great force, but when you are quiet, you allow them to pass away without any reaction, then you will have a bright path. Like after a storm, when the sun rises, you see the brightness in the air. Joy. It happens to life. In the beginning, as Mother says, it is not only for individual, it is the same for the collectivity. But when it happens into the collectivity, we don't say that I don't have to do anything, the collectivity will do. No. We have to do our inner work as individuals, of which collectivity we belong to. So the divine works slowly through imperfections towards perfection. The future belongs to those who can change their consciousness. That's for us. Now, a interesting question which I didn't want to give the answer. Through my presentations, I wanted to open up all the avenues of thought, contemplation, reflection. The last question I would ask, we could go home with this. Are we merely pulling the chariot? Or we are becoming conscious instruments of the power that moves it? For our community, Auroville, are we actually pulling the cart as individual beings? Are a group, collectivity? Or are we becoming conscious instruments of the power that moves it? We need to reflect upon it and find the answer for ourselves.
Thank you, Rama Narayana. Very difficult question. The desire to be joining hands in pulling the cart is what I think I am desirous of. Yeah, it's really a very, very thought-provoking and proposition. Thank you for putting it forth like this. Thank you very much. I don't have many questions to you, but Ramnaranji, if you can reflect, how was it to come to Auroville? When did you see Auroville for the first, and when did you think that you should be a part of it? What was that magic that kept you here?
Yes, it is a very interesting question, and I always feel happy to answer this because it brings me to the original motivation. And whenever there is a difficulty in crisis in Auroville, there is a risk. I feel this question helps me to find the answer and behave how I need to behave. You see, I felt the initial years of my Auroville, or the joining years of movement of Auroville, I felt as if I have been, I don't know what is the right word, hypnotized. I couldn't, as if I can't do anything else than this. And you can understand, imagine, when I came, left everything behind, and I am with my family, that means my wife and son, who was 6. joined, and at that time, Auroville was the entry process was closed for 2 years because there was no housing possible to offer to the newcomers, Aurovillians, because Auroville has decided at that time that for years they were doing that. Those who join Auroville, it is the community responsibility to provide them the basic necessity, roti, kapda, aur makan. And for 2 years they stopped because the people, those who are giving, that is the purpose. Those who have more, they can give. Those who don't, they can take. And then we are in a big family. And at that time, there were 60 people in the queue to get the house. Then people felt that, oh no, now we cannot manage. Let us stop. Let's contemplate how we can handle the whole situation. For 2 years, there was no entry. And we came when the entry process opened. We didn't know this background. And people whom I met, I said, I want to join Auroville. They said, oh, you have money to build your house? I was wondering, in my life, wherever I have worked, all these things were given. I have never thought of that. I just gave myself fully for the work for which I am in. But these questions, I felt, they are not the right questions. The one who has brought me knows where to house me. Why should I think about it? And this answer to that entry board felt so comfortable. But after 6 months, they said, Ram Narayana, you please come up with a practical idea. What is your housing situation? Okay, anyway, the problem was resolved because, again, the one who brought me arranged everything. And I am in a house now. I don't have any problem. And at that time, when this period was going on, I was asking myself, why did I come? What will happen to me? Sometimes, or something worse. Even I remember now that strong feeling that came at that time. Even if I am thrown on the roadside of Auroville tomorrow, I have this choice. I have this decision. It doesn't change. Whatever happens, this is my decision. And who gave me this decision? It is my mind. It is my feelings. Something. That's why I said I was hypnotized to live for Auroville, for whatever the reason. And that is powerful till now. If anything happens, I said, okay, there must be some reason that happened. And you see, these questions fall out. When you look for the future, you see what is the purpose of Auroville, what we need to do, how we need to be connecting to the thing, and that is main thing. And we do all these things, it doesn't matter. I don't know whether I could answer your question.
No, you did answer the question. I completely at least resonate with the hypnosis that you went through. It was same for me, and I wish that we can be hypnotic to others and for ourselves, and may we induce such hypnosis to many more people who come here. We try that and to keep them here. And a lot of people whom we have not kept them here but have been here and have left the place have said that you cannot leave Auroville, you always take it with you, and which is a fair enough idea. And I think by today we have quite a Auroville is quite large, quite big, spread across the universe. Definitely the living earth for sure. Thank you, Ramnarayanji. Let's keep this.
One thing is, what I'd like to say, we believe that there is some force behind the superficial that we see, which is governing the world. And the force that is governing the world doesn't know how to govern us individually. Then let us with full trust surrender to that, and that will know. And if tomorrow there is no guarantee tomorrow what will happen to us, but still something is going to happen. Positive.
Yeah, the forces are working on us, and I'm sure we shall be able to consciously channelize the forces governing ourselves and any kind of governance through us. Thank you so much,
Yes.
Ram Narayanji. Monica, do you have any questions or any reflections to what of Ram Narayanji word?
Yes, thank you so much for the insight. And I was wondering, in regards to this thematic ego, with what attitude do you think it's most strategic to tackle it and to face it within ourselves and in other people?
Yeah, I will try to answer, and it is an interesting and you see, tamasic ego. If we find in others, that means there is some tamasic ego in us. Otherwise, you wouldn't recognize in others. But to change the tamasic ego in others is futile. Okay, so we need to find out what is that in me which is tamasic, doesn't want to change and want to remain as it is, and even resisting something divine, something wider to manifest in my life or in my community. Then I need to work on that and say that no. And there the strong willpower is needed and aspiration is needed. And you see, those who aspire, want, pray, as Mother said, I have read it to you. We need to want that, aspire strongly, put our willpowers unto that. Then it is not our own, when we are connected to our focus on our weaknesses, that weakness dominates us. But when we focus on the strength in us, that weakness automatically falls one day. So we need to, in my view, pray, put our willpower, aspire sincerely, and things going to change. Because there is something unseen force which is going to help us, work in us. And all the weaknesses that we say that is mine, actually it is not mine. Unless if the weakness is not in the world, how can it be in me? And who is the master of all those weaknesses? That is the falsehood. And falsehood is really weak because divine is stronger, much stronger than that, and it can transform. And you know, Savitri, you might have heard, Sri Aurobindo has written the epic poem out of it. And it is the, as Mother says, this is the nothing under this blue sky can be compared with Savitri. And that is such powerful. Every verse is a mantra. And it has power. If you read it repeatedly, that mantra is going to enter into you and it will work. And this is connected into the higher force, the divine force. So every day we could read something from the Mother and Shobina. You are here, I believe, because you have some link with the knowledge that Shobina and the Mother has given. You have the potential to connect with their force, energy, blessings. So when we read their writings and spend at least half an hour a day on that, because their writings are mantra, and mantra has power, and when you read that, contemplate that power would regenerate and enter into us and work in our being, and that would help to work on our tamasic ego or any kind of ego. Tamasic ego is a little hard to act upon, but it is not impossible. Did I answer your question?
Yes, that answers it. Thank you so much. And what really stays with me is that it's futile to try to change it in someone else. That's something that I will carry with me. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for the
Thank you,
wonderful.
thank you, Ram Narayanji. Thank you very much for joining us. Thank you so much. With this, we close this session and